Ted Turner on sailing.
Why were you a good sailor?
Because I worked at it real hard. I didn't have a lot of natural ability. I raced for 8 years in my home club in Savannah, Georgia, and never won the championship at the club. But when I got to college, all the work I'd done started to pay off, and I started winning. And then once I started winning, there was no looking back, because I wasn't about to, until I retired in 81, 33 years later, or 20-something years later after I started winning. I really stuck with it, and I gave it a lot of attention and enthusiasm and hard work.
What did it
which
teach
is
you?
what it takes to be successful at anything, and a certain amount of ability. You have to have a certain amount of ability. And the reason I got into sailing instead of track and field is I wasn't fast. I tried every sport, and I was a little ahead of myself. I was a year ahead in school, so I wasn't as mature as the guys that were in my class. So I couldn't make the first string on any of the sports. But when I got to sailing, I said, aha, this I can do, because it doesn't require as much physical ability as most athletics do. So it's a more cerebral sport, and that was something that I could give. And I'm not that brilliant. I mean, basically, I know what my IQ was. I was only in the 97th percentile. 3% of the people in this country are smarter than me, and with 300 million people, that's that's millions of people that are smarter than me.
So you don't think
basically, but I worked hard to develop my mind, and 50 years later, I'm a lot smarter than I was then.